The Greedy Fox. Why honesty always wins. Once upon a time, in a quiet forest, there lived a slave forest named Freddy. Freddy was clever but had a bad habit. He was always greedy. He always wanted more food than he needed, and he didn't care about the other actions of others. One sunny morning, Freddy was wandering through the forest when he came across a small farm. On the farm, he saw a coop full of plump, juicy hens. What a feast I could have, Freddy thought, licking his lips. But Freddy knew that he couldn't simply walk in and take a hen. The farmer had a setup and traps around the coop. Should have a clever plan, Freddy said to himself. Freddy waited until he saw a little sparrow hopping near the coop. The sparrow was poking at some seeds on the ground, unaware of Freddy's presence. Good morning, little sparrow, Freddy said sweetly. You are such a smart bird. I need your help. Sparrow titled his head. Why do you need help, Freddy? I have heard the chickens inside the coop have some extra grains they don't want. If you could go inside and ask them for grains, I am sure they will give it to you. You can keep half and I will take the rest, Freddy said, pretending to be kind. The sparrow thought for a moment. All right, Freddy, I will help you, it said. The sparrow flew to the coop and spoke to the hens. But hens were not foolish. They knew Freddy was up to something. Freddy is being greedy again, one chuckled hen. Let's teach him a lesson. The hens gave Sparrow a bag filled with heavy pebbles instead of grains. Freddy grabbed the bag eagerly. Thank you, Sparrow, Freddy said, running off with the bag. When Freddy reached the quiet spot on the forest, he opened the bag, expecting to find delicious grains instead of found pebbles. What is this? Freddy growled angrily. Those hens tricked me. A few days later, Freddy returned to the farm, and this time he decided to sneak the coop at night when the farmer was asleep. Freddy crept through the shadows, carefully avoiding the traps. He managed to reach the coop and grabbed a hen, but as he returned to leave, his trail got caught and trapped. Oh no, Freddy cried. He struggled to himself to be free, but the trap wouldn't budge. The common woke farmer, who was come running with lantern. Ah, got you, you greedy fox, Freddy begged. Please let me go, Mr. Farmer. I will never steal again, I promise. The farmer thought for a moment. All right, Freddy, he said. I will let you go, but only if you promise to be honest from now on and never steal from anyone again. Freddy nodded quickly. I promise. The farmer realized that Freddy and Fox ran into the forest. From that day on, Freddy decided to change his ways. He stopped being greedy and started to helping others instead. One day, Freddy came across a rabbit trapped in the thorny bushes. The rabbit cried, Please help me, Freddy. The Freddy hesitated but remembered his promise to be better. He carefully freed the rabbit from the thorns. Thank you, Freddy, the rabbit said gratefully. You are very kind. Helping the rabbit made Freddy feel good inside, something he had never felt before. The word had spread through the forest about Freddy's change. The animal who avoided him began to trust him. They even invited him for their sharing of meals. The Freddy realized that honesty and kindness brought him help and more happiness in the greed ever did. He became known for the fox who always helped others, and he was proud of his new reputation. So kids, the moral of the story is greed and dishonesty may short-term gain but led to the trouble at the end. Honesty and kindness create trust and happiness for everyone. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.
The title of the story is The Elephant and the Sparrow. Once upon a time, in a lush green forest, there lived a mighty elephant named Elmer. Elmer was the biggest and the strongest animal in the forest, with tusks that gleamed in the sunlight and a trunk that could reach the tallest branches. Despite his size and strength, Elmer was gentle and kind hearted, always ready to help his friends in need. One sunny morning, as Elmer was wandering through the forest, he heard a tiny voice crying for help. Curious, he followed the sound and soon found a little sparrow named Shammy. Shammy was flapping his wings frantically, stuck in the thorny bushes. Help, help, I can't get out. Shammy screamed in distress. Elmer carefully approached the bushes and used his trunk to gently pull the thorns away, freezing the tiny sparrow. Thank you so much, Elmer, Shammy exclaimed with relief. I thought I would never get out of there. Elmer smiled and said, No problem, little one. Always happy to help a friend in need. But let me tell, how did you get stuck in that bushes? Shammy sighed and perched on Elmer's shoulder. I was searching for some tasty berries and wasn't paying attention. I didn't see the thorns until it was too late. Elmer chuckled softly. Well, you should be more careful next time. But don't worry, you are safe now. From that day on, Shammy and Elmer became best of friends. Despite their differences in size and strength, they found that they had a lot in common. They both love exploring the forest, enjoying its beauty, and helping others. One day, as they were exploring a new part of the forest, they stumbled upon a raging river. The river had swollen after a heavy rain, and the current was too strong for most animals to cross safely. On the other side of the river, they saw a group of animals, stranded and unable to return to their homes. We have to help them, Elmer, Shammy exclaimed. Elmer nodded. But how? The river is too dangerous. Shammy thought for a moment and then they had an idea. Elmer, you are too strong and big enough to withstand the current. Maybe you can carry them across one by one. Elmer agreed and waded into the river, using his great strength to keep steady against the powerful current. One by one, the stranded animals climbed into Elmer's back and he carefully carried them across to the safety. Shammy flew overhead, guiding Elmer and making sure everyone is safe. The animal cheered and thanked Elmer and Shammy for their bravery and kindness. They could not believe that how much a small sparrow and a big elephant could work together so well to help others. As they all gathered by the river bank, an old wise owl named Oliver spoke up. Elmer and Shammy, you have shown us that true strength lies not in size, but in kindness and teamwork. You have taught us that no matter how different we may seem, we can always find a way to work together and help each other. Elmer and Shammy smiled at each other, proud of what they had accomplished. They knew that their friendship was special and they would always be there for each other, no matter what challenges they face. From that day, Elmer and Shammy were known as the heroes of the forest. Their story of friendship and bravery spread far and wide, inspiring animals of all shapes and sizes to work together and help each other. And the forest was a happier and a safer place for everyone. And so, The mighty elephant and the tiny sparrow lived happily ever after, proving that true friendship knows no bound. Thank you, people.
The clever parrot and the cunning fox. A lesson in trust. In a beautiful green forest, there lived a clever parrot named Polly. Polly was known for her bright green feathers, sparkling eyes, and a voice that could mimic anyone in the forest. She lived high in a mango tree where she could see the entire forest and enjoy the sweet fruits whenever she wanted. Polly was not only clever but also kind hearted and loving, helping each other. One sunny day, a cunning fox named Freddy walked into the forest. Freddy was always looking for easy ways to get food, and he loved tricking others to get what he wanted. Freddy saw Polly sitting on her mango tree happily chopping a twig. Ah, parrot, she must be a easy trick, Freddy thought, licking his lips. I will make sure her trust me and then get her to come down. Freddy sat under Polly's tree and called out, Hello, Polly. You have the sweetest voice I ever heard. Will you sing a song for me? Polly, being polite, replied, Thank you, Mr. Fox. I will happy to sing a song for you. She then sang a cheerful tune which filled with the forest with joy. Freddy clapped his paws and said, What a wonderful voice! You are the most talented bird I have ever met. We should be friends. Polly titled her head and said, Friends? I have heard about you, Mr. Fox. Some animals say you are cunning and cannot be trusted. Freddy pretended to look hurt. Oh dear Polly, don't believe everything you hear. I am not cunning at all. I am just misunderstood. Let me prove that I can be a good friend. Polly was smart and decided to trust Freddy. She said, All right, Mr. Fox. If you truly want to be my friend, bring me some water from the stream nearby. I am feeling thirsty. Freddy didn't want to ruin his plan, so he rushed to the stream, filled a large leaf of water, and carefully brought back to Polly. Here you go, my dear friend, he said, smiling. Thank you, Polly said, sipping the water. She knew Freddy was up to something, but she wanted to know how far he would go. The next day, Freddy returned to the tree with the other plan. He called out, Polly, I have found a tree full of juiciest mangoes. They are ever sweeter than the ones on your tree, but you have to come with me to taste them. Polly replied, That sounds lovely, but I cannot leave my tree unprotected. Many birds depend on it for food. Why don't you bring me one of those mangoes to try first? Freddy was frustrated, but didn't give up. He ran to the mango tree, picked a mango, and brought it back to Polly. She tasted it and said, It's delicious. Thank you, Mr. Fox. Freddy was losing patience. He decided that was time to trick Polly once for all. The next morning he called out, Polly, I have found a secret garden filled with treasures. These are golden fruits, sparkling streams, and colorful flowers. It's a place only for special animals like us that can visit. Come with me. I will show you the way. Polly was curious but cautious. She said, That sounds magical, Mr. Fox, but I can't fly all the way up there without help. Could you carry me on your back? Freddy's eyes gleamed. Of course, climb down. I will take you there. Polly thought for a moment and then said, Wait, let me bring my favorite mango from this tree. I will remind me of home. Freddy agreed. Polly flew into her tree and pretended to pick a mango. Instead, she quickly gathered some sticky tree sap and smeared on Freddy's tail while he was not looking. Then she said, All right, I'm ready, but let's play a little game first. Close your eyes and count to 10 while I hop you into your back. Freddy closed his eyes and started counting. 1, 2, 3. While Freddy was counting, Polly flew up and perched on the branch far away. She called out, Oh, Mr. Fox, you are so clever to trust me, but I'm the cleverer. Look at your trail. Freddy turned around and saw the trail was covered with sticky sap. She tried to shake it off, but it couldn't budge. Polly laughed and said, "You see, Mr. Fox, you cannot fool everyone. You wanted to trick me, but now you have learned a lesson. Trust me, it's earned and not forced." All the animals who had been watching cheerful for Polly. The elephant, who was wise and strong, said, "Freddy, it's time to stop and being cunning. Learn to be honest. Look how clever Polly is. She is a true example of wisdom." Folly and felt ashamed, promised to change his ways. Polly forgave him but reminded him, always treat others with honesty and kindness. On your tricks will come back to you. From that day, Teddy, the better fox, and Polly continued to be clever and kind-hearted parrot to everyone. Forest became a happier place where trust and friendship blossom among all the animals. The moral of the story is, kids, trust is earned through honesty and good deeds. Dissipation may work for a while, but cleverness and kindness always wins at end. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. The title of the story is Father's Secret, a teaching the value of hard work. The peaceful village of Brookside, there lived a kind and hard-working man named Mr. Avis. He was a farmer who worked tirelessly in the fields, growing vegetables and fruits. Mr. Annis had son Tim, who was 12 years old. Tim was a clever boy, but he didn't want to work hard. He often spent time playing games and dreams about life, about everything came easily. Mr. Anvis loved Tim dearly, wanted him to learn the value of hard work. He often said, "Tim, hard work is like planting seeds. It takes time, effort, but it always brings rewards." "But why should we work so hard, Dad?" Tim would reply. "Isn't there an easier way to live?" He said, "One day you will get to learn." One evening, after a long day in fields, Mr. Anvis called Tim to approach. "Tim, I have a secret to share with you," he said. Tim eyed light up. He loved secret. "What is it, Dad?" "There is a hidden treasure buried in our field." Mr. Anvis lowered his voice. "It is left by my father and your grandfather. He told me about wherever he passes by." Tim's jaw dropped. "A treasure? What kind of treasure?" Anvis smiled mysteriously. "That's not we have to find out, but we have to uncover it. You must dig the field from one end to the other." The next morning, Tim grabbed a spade and rushed to the field. He was excited about the treasure and digging it enthusiastically. "This is not much work," he muttered. "Why can't tell me, Dad, this treasure is?" After a few days of digging, Tim had turned over the inch of and no found treasure. He was disappointed and angry. "Dad, you tricked me," he said, stamping on the house. "There is no treasure in the field." Anvis laughed and softly said, "Tim, there is a treasure. You have created it." "What do you mean?" Tim asked. "Look at the field. Because of your hard work, the soil is now ready for planting. That's the treasure." The following day, Mr. Anvis handed Tim a basket of seeds. "Now the field is ready and plant these seeds." Month passed and the field was filled with healthy vegetables and fruits. One day, the neighbor visited Mr. Anvis and said, "Your field looks wonderful this year. How did you do it?" Anvis smiled and pointed to Tim. "That's to my son. They worked hard to prepare." So kids, the moral of the story is hard work is the key to success. It teaches us patience, perseverance, joy of achieving something through our own effort. So kids, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching.